Welcome to Bunnyfish Crafts. This is episode 33. I have swagger. Today is Tuesday, June 25th, and this is my Zombie Apocalypse wrap-up episode. So things are going to run a little bit differently than normal. I don't have show notes, so that should be interesting. I'm just kind of going to pick up things off of my desk and tell you the stories as they come. Hopefully this isn't too long, and anticipate being harassed by my daughter because she has not forgiven me for leaving her for the weekend. So grab some sticks and string and come sit with me. Back tomorrow really quick. The past 2 nights she refused to go to sleep in her bed and instead fell asleep on the couch next to me. See where Molly is, right in this area? Okay, that's the far end of the couch, so the near end is right here. And that's where Mara slept. The first night she turned off the lights and wouldn't let me turn them back on, which was really fun for my VKN. Didn't do much knitting then, but whatever. Last night she let me keep the lights on. Okay, I am going to talk briefly about the one skein craft along, and then I'm going to get into normal things. The prize is right here in its plastic bag. I didn't even take it out in preparation this time because totally going off the cuff. So this is the prize for the one skein craft along, which ends the end of next month. Still plenty of time to make a project using 75% to 100% of a skein of yarn. Any weight of yarn that you want, any skein that you want. It has to be a complete project. Yeah, I think that's everything. Okay, so welcome to the ZK wrap-up episode. As you can see behind me, I kind of have a co-host right now. Well, right here. I got 2 posters of Josh. I'm going to tell you this poster story. So right after he did the rock stratumits, right before he released them, he took a whole bunch of photos, obviously. And then we were looking through them, and I was like, Josh, that photo right there, that one, makes my 14-year-old fangirl self squee. So then I was like, I'm going to print a poster. So I went and was looking at prices of posters, but I didn't print one. So Josh printed me a poster, that poster, and he signed it, which you can't read right now because there's glare. I mean, you might be able to if the screen is really, really big for you. But it doesn't matter. It's not anything I would want to hide because I wouldn't have put it up on my wall. But he gave me 2 posters, that one and motion sickness sensor warning, just in case. And that one right there. But I like the one that's right over my head better. Those probably aren't going to live there permanently, just temporary residents. By the way, I am totally out of things, and I can't even remember if I said welcome at the beginning of my spiel, but I do know that there are a lot of new people watching for the first time this week from the ZK, and that's really exciting. So if I remember your name while I'm telling the stories, I will definitely say it, and if I forget, please don't take it personally because I don't have show notes this week. There was just too much to cover. So the first thing that I'm looking at is actual, knitting content. Let me give you some. This is the project that I worked on the most. It's the Nebula Socks by Cookie A. And I was actually halfway through the gusset and then realized that I hadn't read the instructions. So it's because on the plane ride home is when I was working on the gusset. I think I started it Saturday night, but wasn't really paying attention. So had to rip it out last night. It was probably 12 rounds or something. Not anything to worry about, but this yarn is Test Designer Yarns and doesn't have a colorway. So that's what I worked on mostly. I knew I wasn't going to get a lot of knitting done while I was at the retreat. I must keep touching the wire that attaches my camera to the tower. I'm sorry about that. Hopefully now that I'm not touching anything over here, that it won't happen again. You guys, I kind of don't want to record this episode because that means that the Knitpocalypse is officially behind me. And that is really, really sad. I met a lot of really amazing people and got to meet in person some really amazing people that I get to talk to frequently, but talking via video chat is not the same as being able to like go like this and knock into them, which I do a lot. I took my first plane ride. That was really fun. There was seriously a cloud that looked like a T-Rex bust. Like it had the arms and it had the big face with the snout. Luckily it was facing away from the plane, so we got away safely. If it had been looking at us, I don't know, could have been some cloud on plane attacking, but we were safe. It was only an hour and a half flight. Yeah, about that, I think. Got to the airport. I knew I was going to be there before the other person who was riding with me and the ride, who was Melissa of Meltran Designs. She also has a podcast, which is Meltran Design Corner, maybe. I don't know. I could be making that up. Meltran Design is in the title. So I got to the airport and the terminal is huge there. Our terminal has 2 concourses. That one had 7. I arrived in A or B. I can't remember. Sorry about the dog, by the way. She was arriving in F. I had about an hour of time to kill, so instead of taking the shuttle or the moving floor things, I just walked the whole way. And that killed like 12 minutes of my time. I walk really fast. Then I got there. I scoped out where she was supposed to come in. I went and found a comfy chair, sat down, and got a phone call from our ride saying that she had overslept and she would be late. Okay. I wasn't worried about it. I knew we would get there eventually. Worst case scenario, we would take the shuttle to the hotel. I hear that there was one. But it was fine. It meant that Melissa and I could hang out, which was really, really fun to do in person. We VKN pretty frequently, but there's something so different about meeting people in person. And I went and found a comfy chair, sat down, and got a phone call from our ride saying that she had overslept and she would be late. Okay. I wasn't worried about it. I knew we would get there eventually. Worst case scenario, we would take the shuttle to the hotel. I hear that there was one. But it was fine. It meant that Melissa and I could hang out, which was really, really fun to do in person. We VKN pretty frequently, but there's something so different about meeting people in person and seeing how short they are. I always forget that I'm on the taller side for girls. Not really tall, but I hear that 5'6" is tall. Melissa's 5'2", I think. So she just looked smaller than I expected her to in person because this box right here doesn't give you a very good representation of how tall or short someone will be. We hung out, we did some knitting, then our ride got there, and Kim was awesome and so cute in person. Everybody is so much cuter in person than they are on screen. We drove to Noodles and Company and met up with Josh and Haley and Lisa and Kira. Josh of Sword of a Knitter podcast, Haley and Lisa of Knit Two Together podcast, and Kira of Josh's house. She's his sister. It was fun. I love Noodles and Company, and we never go because Steve says that Noodles and Company can't produce a full meal because he's silly and doesn't think that soup or salad or noodles can be a full meal. But you can add meat to it. We had a really great time at Noodles and Company. Then we went back to the hotel. Our group had originally requested adjoining rooms, but they said we couldn't have them. And we're like, okay, well, can we get on the same floor? Josh, Haley, Kira, and Lisa had all checked in already. They had their room. They had gotten there before us because our ride was late. They had checked in. We asked if we could have a room on, like, near theirs. And the hotel people said, sure, but it'll be a few hours because none of the rooms right up there had been on the immediate clean list. And we were like, okay, that's fine. That was around lunchtime, maybe as late as 1. We didn't end up getting our room until at 6 or 7. I don't know, I wasn't really paying attention to time, but I know it was like dinner. It was late when we got our room. And then we got our room and it wasn't even completely clean, which was really gross, but it was okay. Kim had maintenance come up. And then we had another roommate because Anastasia came to the retreat and she had her own room, but we had 2 full-size beds, and that's enough space for 4 people to sleep. So we said, hey, maybe you can check into our room tomorrow or something. So she went and talked to Jimmy, who was possibly my favorite person who worked at the hotel in the evenings. Robert, totally my favorite person who worked in the mornings. And he figured it out so she could just move her stuff into our room that night, which was nice. It saved us a little bit of money and it saved her a lot of money. Rewind. So in my group of VKN friends, there's probably 15 of us who VKN pretty regularly, and half of us went to the retreat and half of us didn't. I'm going to go deal with that problem. I'll be right back. Children have been pacified. Also, sure sign that I am hiding from reality. I actually did stuff with my hair this morning. That was a long time ago though. It's almost 2:30 now and I did my hair at 7 and I didn't use any product in it, so it was a little more like this morning, but I didn't really care. I don't care if it looks a mess right now because I just wanted something to do that was completely out of what I normally do in the morning, which is get up and clean and make food for people. So that's what I did. Anyway, 15 of us, VKN, and half of us went to the ZK and half of us didn't because of funding or the fact that most of the people who didn't go live in different countries. So we took a picture of all of those stuffed animals together. Ignore the big owl. That's not part of what we made for people. We made the koala the koala's going to Australia, the red T-Rex is going to Utah, the pig is going to Kentucky, the wombat is going to Australia, the kiwi is going to New Zealand, the flower is going to Germany, and the moose is going to Sweden. That was a really fun story. I am pretty sure that 80% of the people at ZK heard the story behind the stuffed animals because I really liked to tell it. I really like to tell stories, so I'm sorry that this is going to be very tangential. I'm not really sorry. I just hope that you're okay with a long-ish episode. When we took that picture, we also gave Josh a stuffed animal that we had made for him. Melissa spun the yarn. Haley and I think Lisa, I think they dyed that together, but it might have just been Haley. They dyed it. Lisa knit up the monster. I made socks using yarn from Becca, and Nancy knit a shawl. Oh, and Jenna knit little rock strata mitts for it. So it's kind of a fantastic monster. And that was really, really great. I think that Josh got as close as Josh gets to the whole crying thing. You know, just so happy that there's tears. The socks are a little bit too big. I didn't want to make them too small, and then I made them too big. Fail. It's okay. He can just sew, put a stitch in the back of each to hold them onto the backs of the legs. I also gave Haley a secret project that I might have mentioned once on the podcast, but then didn't mention again. I made her a big Afghan. Becca's mother-in-law made her an Afghan that she thought was hideous. It was stripes of random yarn put together, and Haley was like, oh, that's so pretty. I love that. You could send it to me. And, Becca was like, if my husband hadn't already claimed it, I would, because Becca thought it was horrible. So I got acrylic yarns from, like, scraps and stuff from most of the group and crocheted it into a blanket for Haley. I also gave Haley her Gandalf socks. The next thing I'm going to talk about is a story. Once upon a time, Josh was making himself a sweater. And he had just started and gotten to the triangles down at the bottom. And I was like, you're making a sweater for me. How nice. That's beautiful. And he was like, no, this sweater is for me. And I was like, okay, well, if you ever want to get rid of it, you can give it my way. By the way, this is the Delancey cardigan. I don't know who it's designed by. I didn't look it up. And the yarn is Arcania yarn, but it's discontinued. So anyway, sweater. Amazing. I ended up with the sweater, but it has a story. So we got to the retreat, and Friday night, people put things on a barter table. Kelly, who is a little blonde girl, hi, I hope you're watching. I have something to show you soon. Okay, so Kelly, a little blonde girl, put a basket of mini skeins on the barter table, free to a good home. So I think I took half of the basket. I was really trying to leave some for other people, but there were just so many pretty colors. And I'm going to show my sock yarn blanket because I told her that I was going to so she could see it, because I show it every week. I wasn't going to because this is not a normal episode, but Kelly, if you are joining us this time, which I hope you are, here it is. Oh, it's got a string coming off of it. Don't be alarmed. Let's see. Can you see it all? No. Let me back up a little. I think you can see most of it. No, you can't. It's getting so big you can't even see all of it in the screen. That's exciting. There you go. Now you can see it. So this is my sock yarn blanket. And I needed something to work on easy last night because I picked up 2 projects in a row in the VKN, realized there were things wrong with both of them, fixed the wrong things, and decided they both needed to go in timeout. I figured that I could handle a miter square. So I started it not with Kelly's yarn, started it with Anastasia's yarn. Anastasia brought a big bag of sock yarn and told me I could make minis out of all of them to use in my blanket. So that's what I'm going to be using for the next stripe, is all of these minis that are Anastasia yarn. My next stripe. But then I'm going to use retreat yarn. So back to the sweater. Kelly also put 2 sweaters free to a good home on the back table. I didn't look at them because I'm allergic to a lot of things, so I didn't want to look at a sweater, think it was absolutely amazing, and then be allergic to it. Plus, I was blinded by the mini skeins. The next morning, Lisa and Haley went over to the table, and they were looking at the barter table. People kept adding things, so I looked at the barter table every probably 4 hours just to see if anyone had put anything that I wanted on the table. They looked and they were like, Heather, you need to come here. And I was like, okay. I thought maybe they had seen mini skeins that I hadn't seen or something. No, they saw a beautiful blue sweater with amazing detail. I tried it on and it fit, and it didn't make me itchy. I wore it around all that day. Oh, when I first got it, I went back to the table and Kira was like, where did you get that sweater? And I said it was free on the back table to a good home. And it was amazing because I now had a hand knit sweater. If you've been with me for a while, you know that I've only knit one adult sweater, and it was for my sister. So I now had a hand knit sweater, and it was amazing. I wore it all day Friday. And then Saturday, I was hanging out in Josh and Haley, Kira, Lisa's room and trying on all of the knitwear that they had brought. I didn't bring anything extra because I wanted a single carry-on bag. So I brought the shawl, the Knitpocalypse shawl, this one. That's the only knitwear that I brought other than a couple pairs of socks. Oh, I just showed you the back of that shawl. So I brought that and 3 pairs of socks, and that's all of my knitwear that I brought. It's really hot here. Sorry. I was trying on shawls and stuff, and then they were like, well, why didn't you try on the Delancey? And it's like, okay. So I tried it on, and they were like, that is your sweater. And I was like, I know, but it's actually Kira's sweater. And then Haley or Lisa told me that Kira really liked the blue sweater. Kira was in the shower because they had gone swimming. It was her turn to get the chlorine off. Well, as soon as she came out of the bathroom, I pounced on her. And I was like, so you can say no, but maybe you might want to trade sweaters for the day or forever. And she said, well, can I try on the blue sweater? And I was like, oh yeah, of course. I hadn't even thought that far ahead, honestly. I was like, maybe the Delancey will come home with me. That's so exciting. So poor girl got jumped when she got out of the bathroom, but she tried on the blue sweater and she loved it, and it looked really good on her. Clearly that sweater was meant for her, just like the Delancey was meant for me. The sweaters just didn't know it yet. We had to go through a barter system. So Kira ended up with the Grown-Up Girl by Joji Locatelli, knit by Kelly. And I ended up with the Delancey cardigan, knit by Josh. I'm going to try it on for you. So this is the Delancey cardigan. Look at how cute those chevrons are. I don't even like chevrons, and I love this sweater so much. Please excuse my obscenely short shorts. It's really hot here. It's 90 something right now. So yeah, I got my sweater, and the Kelly sweater has its own story. Once upon a time, she was at knit night, and she put her project bag in her car, and a skein fell out as she was driving. So her friend, who I believe I was told was Patty, but I may be making that up, was running after her, winding it into a ball as she was driving away. And the sweater was finished at Amy's house, Amy of the Stockinette Zombies, the people who hosted the retreat. Scary post office person knocking on the door and driving the dogs crazy. So that was, we were on Friday. Yes. Sweater. No, got the Friday on sweater. Got the sweater on Friday, traded on Saturday. What else happened? I was late for Josh's class. We went to lunch, and we went to a sushi place, and it has a huge banner, like one of those vinyl banners, that said, now open for lunches. And then you get up to the door, and it's got a little tiny, dinky, handwritten note saying, sorry, we're closed for lunches. Awesome. So we walked down the street to a tapas bar that doesn't serve tapas during lunch. It was still good. Rista 1313 got a cheese platter that she shared with the table, which means mostly I ate it because there were olives that nobody liked, and the cheese and stuff was delicious. I don't usually get cheese platters because when would I do that with my children in tow? That sounds pretty fancy-dancy for taking kids to. Haley just text bombed me. Normally, when I check my phone, I would take it out of the podcast, but since it's a text bomb, I'm taking it. And I'm telling her she did. Distracted. Oh, the food there was really good. It was, I don't know, it was fancy-dancy. I got hummus with vegetables because I knew that I would like hummus. A group of us had gone out to a Greek restaurant the night before, and they had fried hummus or something like that, which I didn't try, but that made me want hummus. So when we went to this tapas bar and it had hummus, I was like, no brainer, I'm getting the hummus. So that was amazing. Got back to Josh's class 45 minutes late, just in time to watch it wrap up and tell the story of why I was late. And then I proceeded to try on all of Josh's shawls, because when you're the same person as someone else, you just try on all of their knitwear. So I folded all of his stuff away. It was like Mary Poppins in that bag. Oh, I forgot about another class. Josh at Noodles and Company was like, hey, so Kelly Sheep Dreamery, she had to cancel last minute. Her husband had surgery. And she had a class that she was supposed to be teaching about podcasting. So Megan and Amy asked him if he would lead a podcaster panel sort of thing. And since most of us sitting at that table were podcasters, he asked us, and we were like, sure, we will be on this podcasting panel. The panel was Josh, me, Haley, Lisa, Melissa, Leslie of, I can't remember. I know her username is Pixie Knits. The knitting game, maybe. Carolyn Shirley of Girlfriends Knitting. Amanda, the Elizabeth Quinton design person. I don't remember what her podcast is. I'm really sorry. I should have written it down. This is why I only work with show notes. And Megan of Stockinette Zombies was on the panel too. Pretty sure that's everybody. I'm really sorry if I missed you. That would be really bad if I missed you. But I think I got everybody. So we just answered questions from the audience. Josh gave an intro that was what I jokingly refer to as the Minnesota hello, because he says there's a Minnesota goodbye that takes like 15 minutes, and I feel like Josh's intros take like 15 minutes. Said with love. That was really fun. That was really nice. I hope that some of you are here because of that panel. And you've probably already noticed, if you were at the panel, that there has been editing because I edit out my children. I'm not sure that there are other stories to tell as such. I met a lot of people who were really fantastic. I met a lot of my VKN friends. That was really fantastic. Nancy, if you're watching, you are adorable. Even with your camera this close to my face. Still adorable. Okay, well, since I can't think of the story right now, I'm just going to grab stuff from my bag. This is most of what I bought at the marketplace on Saturday. Not all of it. I had to ship one thing home. I was shipping a box to myself anyway, so I wouldn't have to deal with airport security for a hook on a spindle and metal knitting needles, and I was planning on sending things home anyway, so this is what I have here now. Things that I remember, I'll put photos in, and things that I don't talk about this week, I'll just show you next week. The booth that I hit the hardest was 716 Knit. I knew that I wanted to get stuff from that booth, so I did. I got some stitch markers, and I did something that I said that I wasn't going to do, which was buy mini skeins. Oh, hairband. For my sock yarn blanket. The only reason I bought mini skeins is because some of these colors didn't exist in the shop that I saw, and some of them are awesome, but I wouldn't want to knit an entire project out of, like these two. OMG orange. But so cute and will look fantastic in my blanket. So there's going to be a Jenna stripe. Those aren't all of the mini skeins that I bought. I bought 15 total. So these ones as well. I might have a mini skein problem in that I need all of the mini skeins from everywhere. But hey, I only took half from that basket. horrible, right? So I got those. I bought this for Becca because we are going to trade. This is a short skein, which means it's not the full thing, and allegedly this is a very popular color. I got it in the Boss base, which is sport weight, and it is everyone wants petrified hamsters and they're never happy with them. All of the 716 names are Buffy the Vampire Slayer quotes. What's this one? I don't even know what their names are. I didn't look. Find, Slay, Party. What else came from Jenna's booth? This is 5x5. That's the name of the colorway. And this HXC is the striping, hardcore striping. So it's gray and purple. I bought that because it is awesome, and if I don't make something for me, then I'll probably make something for Mary Lee, but don't hold me to that, Mary Lee, because I might love that color too much to give it up. On the bright side, all of her colors are repeatable to an extent, so yeah. If you love it, you can have it. This is the special Zombie Knitpocalypse color, which I was really surprised didn't sell out. She didn't have a ton of skeins, and she still had probably 10 to 15 skeins left over. So if you didn't catch this at the Knitpocalypse, or you are seeing it on screen and you love it, I know she still has some skeins, and I don't know how she's planning on distributing that. But you can get in contact with her and ask her. I think it's beautiful. It's not striping, it's just a variegated, but it is gorgeous. Did I tell you the name? If the apocalypse comes, beep me. It's on the sock base. It was on all of the bases that she has. The sock base is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. The others, except for the one that I showed you first, are on the sock base. I also got this from her booth. Sport weight. It's called Spotty Rainbow because it's got little flecks of color in the other colors, like this. Oh, that purple and that green right there. I don't care. I just really wanted a rainbow. There were other very pretty ones, but I saw the rainbow and I was like, how could I get anything else? This is the last skein that I bought for myself. I did buy another skein for someone else. It was a sport weight blue because I was in the booth and Kira was in the booth, and she found the same color on two different bases, and she was having a really hard time deciding, and I was like, well, which one do you like more? And she was like, I don't know, I love them both. So I grabbed one out of her hand and threw it on my pile and bought it for her. She did not have the budget that I had. I had a really big budget for this. That's why I've been saving. That's why I haven't had new yarn in a really long time, except the Mother's Day yarn, but I didn't buy that. Steve bought that for me for Mother's Day. Okay, so this is Poo Poo Southern California Poo Poo. Amanda, did you just make squeeing noises? I think I heard you all the way here because I saw this and I was like, oh, my sister needs that in her life. I don't know in what form she needs it, but my sister needs that in her life. On to other booths that I hit up. This is from Spartacus Dyes, and I'm not going to take it out of the bag. It's faux Angora. It's pink and gray. It is very fuzzy, and I don't want to have pink fuzzy all over me for the rest of the day because my hands are sweaty. I won't be spinning this until it cools off a little bit and my hands aren't sweaty all the time. But it's really, really soft, and I've heard that it, from people who know, I've heard that it feels like Angora, which I am a little bit allergic to. She also had faux cashmere, but I liked the colors, but I liked this one best. So I got this one. And the faux cashmere didn't make me itchy either, so maybe someday spinning faux cashmere. I am allergic to cashmere, like a lot. As in, Sun Valley Fibers put this in our grab bag, and it is a cashmere, that's silk merino cashmere, I think. And it's really pretty, but it makes me itchy. I am going to use it in my sock yarn blanket around the edges where I'm not as likely to touch my skin with it, because it does make me itchy. I didn't end up buying anything from Sun Valley Fibers because all of their things had cashmere in it, except some worsted weight, which I didn't see. I heard there was some worsted weight and some singles, but I didn't see those. I looked, so I didn't buy anything from them, but the colors were amazing, so they're worth checking out. From Illuminated Yarns, I got Jubilation. I saw this, and I was walking over to pay, and then I was like, oh, that's really pretty, I like that. And then I saw this, and I was like, yeah, I need that in my life right now. This one's called Amazon Rainforest. So, got these. This one is Superwash Merino 3-ply topaz base, and this is the Iridium base, which is Superwash BFL 25% nylon. Beautiful! I'm really excited about this BFL. Now I remember why I definitely didn't want to put this one down, because it was BFL, and I've never worked with Superwash BFL before. From, okay, Daisy Knits. Daisy, that's her Ravelry name. She is Jennifer, and she would be my new best friend if she didn't live so far away. Seriously. She had this really cool project idea as well, which I will probably steal if I go to knitting retreats in the future, which I hope to, but 2 small children, things get a little sketchy on how much I can actually leave, especially if I want Mara to not be on top of me for the rest of my life. She had a really cool project. It was a blanket made out of worsted weight cotton that she knit 3 rows on to start it off, and since then she has not knit on it at all, and people at retreats have knit a row or a few rows. I think Josh did like 4 rows to add his Josh flair to it. I only did 1 row, and I did it in green, and I did twisted stitches. It was the only rules that were that you not use a pattern that make it pucker too much. Anyway, this is a new colorway. It's called Wicked Cool. It might be, I heard that it might be changed to Wicked Cool Dragonfly because Jennifer's husband kept calling it Wicked Cool, so she called it Wicked Cool. And then someone else said that it looked like a dragonfly, so she might be changing it to Wicked Cool Dragonfly. I did not hear that from Jennifer, though, so that may or may not be true. I'll be right back. This is on her shoot base, which is 60% superwash merino, 30% bamboo, and 10% nylon. I'm really excited to use this because I haven't used any bamboo. I haven't really used any bamboo yarn. I may have used 1 bamboo blend sock yarn, but I don't have a lot of experience with it, so I'm really excited about that. And also the colors are amazing. Now you get to see what kind of colors I buy for myself, because I don't usually buy things for myself. I usually buy things for other people. Right next to Daisy was Cloud Lover. I'm not going to pull the fiber out because my hands are sticky. So, when I was in Cloud Lover's booth, apparently all I wanted were dark colors. There's my fiber, which is 40% merino, 40% superwash merino, and 20% silk, a blend I've never used before. And then I got 2 skeins of yarn. This is their card, by the way, Cloud Lover. And I will be doing show notes. I don't know if they're going to be up tonight. I will try, but there's a lot. So maybe not. These are both 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And they are beautiful. I saw this skein first, and it was like, take me home, and I was like, I don't really buy yarn in those colors because what will I use it for? And it was like, no, trust me, take me home, and I was like, well, okay, I guess I'll take you home. So I took it home, and I was wearing Josh's string band hat. It's a Stephen West pattern all day on Saturday, I think. That sounds about right. He had brought it to the retreat because he made it, and I was like, wow, I really, really love that hat on you. I wonder if I would like that hat on myself, because I feel that hats are one of those things that you have to have the right one or it looks awful on you. So he brought it to the retreat so I could try it on, and people kept telling me that I should tell him that he should just give me the hat, and I was like, I know, because it was amazing. But I'm just going to make my own. And I realized this morning that this wants to be one of the colors for the string band hat. How am I supposed to argue when yarn demands to go home with me? Couldn't argue that. And then this one's just pretty. I don't know what it's going to be either, but I know that I like this color combination. I was a little bit worried about this because it's got the yellows and stuff, but as a hat, with my hair coming out of the hat, it shouldn't be too much yellow right around my face, and there will be another color in with it. I also bought buttons from, those are wooden buttons that are hand cut, and one of those two sets is going on this hat. I have to figure out what I want to use for the other color, and I still have to buy the pattern, so I'm not really in a huge rush for that. Those buttons are being shipped. I didn't want to accidentally put down my bag. I was traveling with a duffel bag and crack a button, so I put those in the post in a flat rate box. Oh, I was telling you how Anastasia brought me a bag to look at full of skeins of yarn. When I say skeins, I mean full skeins of yarn. Like, I was cracking open full skeins of yarn and taking out 10 yards or so for a mini skein. I bought these two from her because I was like, those need to be full projects or parts of full projects. They need to be something, not just part of a sock yarn blanket. Especially this one. Especially that one. So gorgeous. This one's pretty too, but this one is amazing. I don't know what they're going to be when they grow up. I hope I didn't just give you motion sickness with my... That was probably motion sickness inducing as well. Melissa made me a scarf. I was one of the very few people in the VKN group who did not make one of these super fast scarves. I don't even know what they're called because I didn't make one. But she made it and gave it to me, and it is beautiful. I'm going to wear it for roughly a minute, and then I'm going to be too hot because it's ridiculously hot here. Off of the barter table, I found this stroll fingering in make-believe hand-painted. Guess what types of colors I like? These kind. Since I got this, and this, and this, and they're all pretty similar. I know. Whatever. I don't usually buy yarn for myself, and now I have 3 things that I know that I will like, and if for some reason I don't want them, I have friends who will like those colors. I also bought from the Grinning Gargoyle silk and merino, I think. And I'm pretty sure that's everything that I bought from the marketplace. I'm pretty sure things that needed to be shipped were things that I had gotten from people. Josh brought me a cake of sock yarn that he wasn't going to use, plus several mini skeins. Kim gave me a mini skein. In the mini skein swap, I got Leslie, who's Pixie Knits, and we could choose our own skein, and there were some that I was immediately drawn to, but I was like, no, wait. I am going to pick a skein that I wouldn't immediately be drawn to because then it'll stand out in my sock yarn blanket. So I picked a yellow-based skein, which is still really pretty because I have a thing for rainbows. You probably can't tell that, but I do. This is what I won. They had so many prize donations that Everybody won a prize, and some people won 2 prizes. I did not win 2 prizes. I only won 1. The skein that I originally won was this really, really beautiful oceany blue, not like the real ocean, but like the fake ocean that you think of when you think ocean blue, that color, which is the color of Haley's soul. So she had won this on the first night, and I had seen it. This skein was kind of like this blue color, but the whole thing was just blue. I'd seen this skein when she won it. It's O-Loops, called Barbie Zombinista. And it's 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. I saw it and I was like, but Haley was across the table and I didn't want to lust all over her yarn from across the table. If I was right next to her, it would have been a different thing. But they were trying to get through prize drawings pretty quickly because it wasn't a small group that was there and everybody won prizes. So yeah, they were trying to get through the prize drawing quickly. I was trying not to be too loud. Look at this adorable stitch marker that comes on these. Oh, by the way, 716 Knit, all of the skeins of yarn have these stitch markers. The ring kind with a bead. I love those kinds. So that's really cool. Back to where I was. We traded. She got the color of her soul, which I don't remember what the yarn was or the colorway now because I just know that this is what I got and it's amazing. This we got upon arrival, this bag. Oh, there you go. Can you read it? Yes. Zombie and Apocalypse. Zombies are knitting retreat. Fantastic. Here is a mini skein. This is the mini skein from Kim that I mentioned. We got business cards from some of the vendors. This is illuminated yarn. The 2 that I got that were different bases. And Into the World. Not a vendor there, but a sponsor. Neighborhood Fiber Company also weren't there, but this cute little skein of yarn, I don't know what it is, but I'm going to hope it's not cashmere, and even if it is, I'm still going to put it in my sock yarn blanket. Some people got fiber in theirs, and some people didn't. I didn't, but Anastasia got fiber, and she doesn't spin. So this is 50% BFL, 25% baby alpaca, 12.5% bamboo, and 12.5% Firestar. I haven't spun baby alpaca, bamboo, or Firestar, so that will all be new for me, and it is undyed, so that's really pretty. Daisy Knits put in this little cute keychain. Jenna put in a mini skein, 716 Knit, put in a mini skein of this color. I'm pretty sure that's all that came in here. Oh, and that one mini skein from Sun Valley Fibers. Yeah. I also ran the 5K in the rain. Josh and Lisa were supposed to go with, but Lisa wasn't feeling well, and Josh is just a slacker. He went swimming instead. Not as cool as going in the rain. We got these little medals. I got a medal, and Amuska got a medal. Also, upon entering, those of us who ordered retreat bags from Absolute Wonder got them. This is mine. I did not have people sign mine. Some people had people signing theirs. I did not, because I had a notebook with me that I had people sign. Not everybody I met, but people who I talked to a lot I had sign. And if I didn't have you sign it, it's not because I didn't want you to sign it. It's just because I was a moron and forgot to have people sign it until Saturday night and then Sunday morning. So that's what the outside looks like. This is my button. Josh and I had matching buttons. We did not have matching inside fabric though, because that was part of the charm, was that they had different inside fabrics, and it also had this adorable state cutout. So that was fantastic. I have run out of things on my desk, but I know there are more things to talk about and show you. But you'll have to wait until next week to see them because Mara refuses to let me be away from her any longer. Bye-bye, baby.
Bye, baby.
She has toothpaste in her hair.
Bye.
I hope you made something fantastic with your sticks and string, and I hope that the fact that I've been recording for almost an hour and a half does not translate into an hour and a half episode. See you next week where I will be more on schedule, but we'll definitely still have swag as I have a box coming to me with stuff. Bye!